and we're just really excited to offer complimentary master classes, because our big thing is getting information out there so that women can experience the freedom that they were meant to experience. So, you know you are in the right place if you feel stuck. Like, no matter what it is you do, you still seem to be like in that same loop. If you say yes when you really mean no, and that happens a lot at work, asking for volunteers, do you want to do such and such? And people feel kind of compelled. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. And it's funny, in our staff meetings, I watch the newbies and they're all jumping in. Yeah, sure, I'll do it. You won't be seeing my hand. Sometimes you struggle with depression, and that's really kind of a byproduct of feeling stuck. When we feel that we just don't have control, we can't make changes, then sometimes we just feel depressed. And this is a big one, especially for women, for moms, and for some men that I know. Do you feel compelled to keep others from experiencing discomfort or the consequences of their actions? We always want people to feel happy, like all the time happy. And we're not all the time happy either. And do you feel burdened? Sometimes we just feel weighed down. And that happens. So we're going to talk about those things this morning, and at the end we're going to be able to throw off the shackles and walk in freedom, and life will be all happy, right? Right? I wish.
We wish.
Yeah, I wish. All right. So.
That looks good.
Yep, we're starting off with a peaceful life. So, I want you to get up, sit in one of those chairs, face the ocean.
Yes.
Feel that light breeze. You smell the salt in the air. Inhale. Exhale. And think. If you could wave a magic wand and your life looked exactly like you want it, what would it look like? And remember, there is no right answer, and we're thinking, not sharing. Okay, so we're there right now. Now think, what are some things that are getting in the way of that peaceful life that's in your mind? It could be a person. It could be a stubborn circumstance. It could be your health. So we're going to deal with this unwelcome intruder here. All right, exhale. Open your eyes. And keep in mind about that unwelcome intruder. Now, would it surprise you if I told you that you actually have more control over your life and your situations than you think? The issue is that sometimes we unknowingly give up that control. And we're going to start with the first of the 4 things that are like our little stealers of peace. And the first one is, are you allergic? Now, when people are allergic to cats, I know some people on this call could never be allergic to cats. But say you were. If there's a cat around, what do? You react, you sneeze. And then, since you know how uncomfortable it makes you, if you see a cat coming, you're like, oh no, I gotta go. What if, and it would be the most horrible thing in the world, you were allergic to chocolate? And there was somebody was offering you a huge fluffy chocolate cake.
Sounds delicious.
But you have that allergy, and you would just avoid it. You just wouldn't eat it. So that's how allergies work. And sometimes we're allergic to peace. I know it may sound crazy, but some people are addicted to living in crisis mode. In fact, they always have to have a major problem so they feel alive. And sometimes it's due to past trauma. They are so used to having like the apple cart in their lives upset that they feel uncomfortable if they are not the character in their own soap opera or drama. And if things try to get, things finally calm down a little bit, they gotta shake it up. And I use this example with permission. When Frank and I first got married, he was so used to stuff going on, like all the time, had to happen, excitement, that when he got married to me, and my idea of like fun and excitement is like falling asleep on the couch at 7:30 on a Friday night. Yeah, I do travel, I do love adventures, but not every day, not all the time. So when we got married, I think one of his big challenges that he says is that it was really peaceful around here. And it really made him uncomfortable. So he's making the adjustment. It's been about 5 years now. He's making the adjustment. And it's better now. But there are those people who are addicted to crisis mode. And if there's no crisis going on, they create one. So, move on to our next point here. And a trigger is a situation that invites a response. Just like a cat allergy would invite sneezing. And when you're triggered, think about it. Things that trigger you. It could be that when you're driving and you got the idiot that cuts you off. Sometimes the words that come immediately to your mind just probably are ones you shouldn't say. Or you have somebody who, and this has happened, takes the last cookie and you go and all you want is a cookie and there's none left. And you're triggered. So what do you do in that moment? The first thing that comes to your mind? Do those words that you probably shouldn't say fly right out of your mouth? Do you look for the perpetrator of the cookie eater? And you tell him, hey, that was the last cookie. I wanted that last cookie. That was really selfish of you. Or can you take a step back? And like we were practicing like breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Think about the situation. And then respond. And a response is something that's measured and it's thought out. A reaction is kind of like, the doctor uses the little hammer and hits the knee and the leg comes out. A response is something where you take that moment and you think about it. And then you respond as opposed to react. See where you're taking the control back there? Now that kind of leads into reactive or proactive. Now reactive again is that whole knee-jerk reaction. But being proactive, it's kind of taking a step further than that response. And this is when you pause. But you also look at the situation. And you look at, what are the consequences of my actions? What do I need to do? And then you make an active choice about what you're going to do. And that choice is something that will allow you in the future to go there before you go to the reaction. Hopefully that's making sense. So that you can plan ahead for situations in the future that may cause you to want to have a knee-jerk reaction, and that you have a response already in place in your mind. And you're able to have your behavior come from a place of peace and calm as opposed to a place of anger and upset. So being proactive, planning ahead, and what I find is when I think things through ahead of time, when a situation comes up, I've already thought it through. So I already know what I'm going to do. And you're just not going to shake me off balance with that. So another way of kind of holding on to your peace. Hopefully we've cured the allergy. Okay, our next challenge. And this actually was born out of a session with one of my clients. Are you giving of yourself? Or are you giving up yourself? And there is a difference, a huge difference that makes a difference with your own level of peace. Now, helping others is doing God's work. If you see somebody in trouble, you want to help. That's just kind of naturally the way that we're wired. However, there are limits, healthy limits. And here's how to know if you're actually giving up yourself as opposed to giving of yourself. Look inside. Are you feeling anxious? Are you obsessed with this person's issue? I mean, I've had people come to me before and they've had, I'm having trouble paying this bill. And, can you help? Can you help? And I feel bad for them. And sometimes I can help. But other times, I'm looking at my own bills. And as much as I would love to help you, I can't. And I can't afford the mental energy to obsess on your problem because I need to be healthy for myself. And you know that you're giving up yourself when you get stuck in that loop. I've got to help, I've got to do something, gotta. And it's causing you anxiety. And sometimes we are so close to the issue, and it's like the proverbial, you can't see the forest for the trees. but you're so close to the issue that you can't even see that this is what's happening. And sometimes it takes somebody who loves you on the outside to say, hey, I think you might be a little too close to the situation for you to actually be able to see it. And when someone says something like that to you, you can't get defensive because it's coming from a place of love. Now, another way that you know that you're giving up yourself is if you are physically and mentally drained. If whoever is having that situation that you are obsessing over is taking all of your mental faculties so that you can't do the things that you need to do for yourself, like get your rest, like you're so anxious you don't get your nutrition, like your self-care is getting thrown out the window, like your meditation time, well, it turns from meditation on something helpful and positive to meditating on their problem, which is essentially all obsession is. It's meditating on someone else's problem. If these are things that are happening to you and they are hurting your own well-being, you need to throw up the timeout sign. Stop. And take a look at the costs, the price you are paying for someone else's issue. And like I said, helping others, it's God's work. We want to be helpful. Please don't ever hear me say be selfish. But what I am saying is that you are valuable too. And when you are giving up your life for somebody else, you are doing more than you're required to do, and more than you should be expected to do. All right. Do we have any dancers in the house? Dancers. So, alrighty, I see some dancers. And I love dancing too. And actually, one of the ladies from church and I, we started doing cardio dance on Wednesday nights, and it is so much fun. Some of you probably remember the hustle. Anybody know the foxtrot? The boot scoot?
No.
Call out some that you remember that you actually have fun with.
I like basketball.
You're talking about the big dance.
And I just like to play. I like basketball. I wish I had a court to play with, tell you the truth. I enjoy basketball.
Okay.
As well as college basketball, but I like playing too.
Okay. Well, that is kind of a dance. There's definitely an organization to it. There are definitely steps that you make. So,
Talking about dances, I remember the twist. I like the twist.
the twist is fun.
Cha-cha.
The cha-cha, the twist. Yeah. So dancing, it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah. It's kind of freeing.
Yeah, true.
So, have you all heard about, I guess you've heard about the two-step.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Today, we are talking about the three-step. So you are going to learn a new dance. This one, however, is not quite as fun. So, the three-step, essentially, it drains you of the energy that you need for your own life. Okay, step one. Someone you care about has an issue. Okay, and it could be that financial issue. It could be they're having a mental health issue. It could be that they have an addiction. But somebody you care about has an issue. So, number two, you start to help. Often, without asking. You have got the perfect plan for what they need to do, and you are giving them that answer. And then, well, they may not seem to be quite as appreciative as you think they should be. Which takes you to step 3. They feel kind of resentful. In fact, they may even feel offended. What's the matter? You think I'm stupid? What's the matter? You think you think I can't handle my own life? You think I can't handle the issue? I can handle it just fine. And then, instead of being helpful or appreciative, they're just mean. And you feel hurt. I mean, can't they see that I love them? Can't they see that I'm giving myself up for them? Yep. You feel hurt, you feel resentful. And yeah, the spiral goes on, and the stuff that we talked about before, where you feel stuck in the situation, you feel depressed in the situation. And a lot of it's because you don't want to see other people hurt. You don't want them to experience the consequences of their own actions. You don't want them to be uncomfortable in any way. And you're giving, and nobody's benefiting, especially you. So, has it ever happened to you? Don't answer. Think. Has it ever happened to you? And is it something that might even be happening right now? So, if you've been stuck in the dance, why do you even do that? And you've probably asked yourself before, if it's happened before, why do I even do this? And there really are good reasons for it. Number 1, and this is a normal human emotion, we all desire love. We all desire acceptance. We all desire companionship. And there is nothing wrong with any of those things. They are normal human emotions. We do want the approval of others. I mean, there are people who go around saying, I don't care what other people think. Usually the people who say that the loudest are the ones who really most want somebody to say, I see you. I care about you. And let's face it, it feels good to feel needed. We like feeling needed. There's nothing wrong with any of these emotions. However, when we get in the way of other people's ability to make their own decisions by doing for them what they could and should be doing for themselves, we set them up to possibly become offended. And in their offense, they offend us. And we get stuck in that same dance, that same triangle, over and over and over again. There is a way out, and we'll talk about that. So stay tuned. All right. Who likes a good sale? I love a sale.
Clearance.
Yes, sirree. I love a good sale. I see some other people out here who love good sales. And I'm not talking about 10% off. 10% off is not a sale. It's not a sale. In fact, you know what my favorite sale is? Let you in on a little secret. I have a really, really good friend. His name is Clearance. And he's usually in the back of the store, behind all the new stuff for the season. And, okay, so it's usually the messiest rack. But it doesn't matter, because clearance is my friend. I can spend plenty of time back there finding just the right thing at like 70% off. And if there is a coupon on top of the clearance, it's even better. Yep. Love a good sale. Absolutely love.
Wonderful.
Yes, love a good sale. And I think most of us enjoy a good discount. However, the one thing that we shouldn't discount is ourselves. And sometimes we mark ourselves down. Yep, sit with that for just a second. Are you letting people devalue your time, your worth, your contributions? Okay, our final challenge to that peaceful life that we want is that sometimes we don't realize our value. And because we don't realize our own value, we become accustomed, let's say. And even over time, especially if there's been trauma, we become accustomed to being devalued, to being like thrown in the dirt. And sometimes the messages that we've gotten as children that have lasted into adulthood, they just stick with us. They're like that tape in our minds that we hear over and over and over again. And to the point where we don't need that person around anymore to devalue you. We hear those words in our head and we act just like they were still there. And it causes that wound. And give you an example of something that still sticks out in my mind, that's still painful to me. I was in a grocery store, and I had, there was a mom who was blessed with 2 little girls, and they were probably about 3 and 5, and they were acting like they were 3 or 5. I mean, kids, they're active, they're chatty, they joke around, that's kind of what they do. And so they were playing around and Mama didn't like it. And so she yelled at the older one, "You're stupid." And then to the younger one, "You're stupid too, because you're doing the same thing." And I saw the expression on the children's face as it fell, and my own heart fell. And I remember those words. Oh gosh, it's maybe 20, 30 years later. But I also know that they remember those words. And I'm positive it's not the only time they ever heard them uttered. And those things cause a wound that needs healing. Now, what we don't realize a lot of times, and maybe you didn't hear it as a child, maybe you didn't hear it as an adult, we are each like a diamond. But you have a great responsibility that you've been given because of the person that you have been created to be. Don't allow anybody to snatch that away from you. So, asking a question here. Who are you? Yep. At your core, who are you? Who are you, Beverly? Demetrius? Who are you, Lenise? Don't answer. Just think. Yes. Who is this valuable woman? Many of us have spent so much time and energy helping, manipulating, and begging for love and acceptance. We don't even know anymore. And I have worked with women who 50s, 60s say, I don't even know what I like. And I think a lot of times as women, we're the caretakers, we're the helpers. We put our lives on hold so that we never truly are able to lean into our gifts and our talents. And in fact, kind of like that movie Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts, we don't even know what kind of eggs we like. So, and if you haven't seen the movie, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense, so watch the movie. I'm not going to steal the whole thing. But not only do we not know what kind of eggs we like, we don't even know what our strengths are. We don't know what our talents are. We do not know the value that we bring through our own experiences and our knowledge. And remember, we're designer originals. We all have unique experiences and knowledge that we can bring to situations that nobody else has or will ever have. And that's the way that we're gifted. Okay? And we stay stuck there because we often allow others to define us in a way that only our Creator can. All right, so what do? We have got all these things that are blocking us, blocking our peace, our happiness, that have us stuck. So what do? And the good news is, you have more control over your situations and your life than you think. Have you heard that before? Yeah. I want you to hold on to that. It's all up to you, though. So, are you willing to try something new? If you know you need to make some changes and it's time to get out of that rut, there's no time like the present. It's a little scary sometimes to do something new. I think of the first time I went ziplining, it was a little scary. It was a little uncomfortable. And I just think about the situation too, and this is something that my mom gave me, about doing something new. I'll go for some water here. Sorry. I'm the firstborn. And Mom was a first-time mom. And so at night when I would cry and wail, like babies have a tendency to do, she would run in every night and pick me up and comfort me. Yes, we have secure attachment, but that's for something else. However, Dad said, you know, you're going to need to let her cry, and she will cry herself to sleep. I do have a very wise father. As a baby, I don't think I would have liked it so much, but very wise father. And he sat with my mom and held her hands while I cried.
Oh my goodness.
While I cried myself to sleep. And you know what? I'm okay.
All right.
I grew
All
up
right.
and I am fine.
Mm-hmm.
And
All right.
my mom was willing to do something new. And she did.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, she had peace. So, if you don't want to live in crisis mode and enjoy some peace, you're going to have to do something new. You're going to have to do something out of the box. And it's going to take some time to rest your mind. You know, you can start by trying to exit the situation in little mini meditations. Take a bath. Take a walk. It's going to be uncomfortable, but you can shift your mindset, and that's what needs to happen. You need to shift your mindset. So, instead of giving up yourself, and this, if you are familiar with like the traditions of like AA, NA, or any of the recovery groups, you have to start by admitting that you're not God. You're not. And you have to allow people to do the things they can and should do for themselves. And it's hard, just like my mom, it was that challenge. It's something that you're going to have to do. And only help if you're asked. And I can speak from personal experience. It is hard when you see somebody rowing down the river. You see the waterfall. You know it's there. You see what's happening. But jumping in to rescue them only means you're both going to go over the waterfall. And somebody needs to live to tell the story. So as hard as it is, don't jump in. Only help if asked, and if you can do it without compromising your own health and your own sanity. All right, it is time for a new dance.
All right.
You can learn that dance of self-care. You can learn that dance of not getting overly involved. You can learn that dance of not being codependent with somebody else's problems or issues. Imagine the freedom you will have if you are not responsible for everybody else's problems. Kind of makes you want to shout, doesn't it? Yeah, we'll sit with that for just a second. That freedom. Breathe it in. And exhale it. Freedom. It is possible. All right. And where we end is actually where it begins. And quite honestly, if you don't know your value or what makes you valuable, you don't need to be ashamed, and you don't need to devalue yourself because you don't know. I have been that woman, the one who devalued myself, the one who didn't know the worth that she had. So I know that woman. And I have come aside many women who are just like I was. And we've worked together. And just kind of walking side by side, and by doing the work. And like I said, it's uncomfortable, and it is work. They have discovered or rediscovered their value. And they've become unstoppable. And they're living in the peace that they've wanted. Living the life that they've wanted to live, but just didn't think it was possible. It's not too late. And a lot of times, women, when we reach a certain age, we're like, it has been like this for so long. It can never change. It can never get better. I am stuck. No. No. That's a lie. You do have the power to change. That's your bonus. You do have the power to change. You can change your mindset. You can change your actions. You can be proactive instead of reactive. You can change your dance. You can change the way you see and treat yourself. It is not too late. You just have to be willing to take that first step. So, that kind of leaves us with a big question, doesn't it? What do I do now? And we've got the questions that only you can answer there. It's up to you. Now think back. How many of you remember the game show Let's Make a Deal? Can I see your hands? Yep, let's make a deal. Always fun. So, remember that big red curtain?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you never knew what was on the other side of that curtain, now did you?
Right.
Mm-hmm. You had to make a decision. Am I going to stick with what's in my hand now, which it might be okay? I mean, I could cope with it. I guess it's all right. Or, if I looked on the other side, there could be like a new shiny car. Or some shiny appliances. Could be a clunker, but you know what? What I have now ain't all that hot anyway, so what difference does it make? So, if you're curious, you have to make a decision. If you want to make a change, you're going to have a plan. I would love to say that, you wake up one morning and your life is just like you imagined at the beginning. It hasn't worked for me, and I don't know anybody that it's ever worked for. So you have to be willing to make a change. And you have to have a plan. You need support. And you need accountability. And quite honestly, having a coach makes you twice as likely to succeed. And the good news is, just by showing up today, you get a free strategy session. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say free? Oh, yeah. It's free. Just type in the chat or email me, it's time. And if you want to take a peek behind that curtain to see what your life could be like, I can contact you with next steps. So, let's chat. As a life and health coach, I am passionate about women walking in the freedom that they were intended to walk in and to live the life that they were called to live. The phrase, stop coping, start living, it's not just a slogan. It's something that I truly believe in. As women, we cope with a lot of things. We cope in work situations, we cope in family situations, we cope with health situations. We cope when somebody throws dirt on us again and again and again. But that's not the way we were meant to live. We were meant to live a victorious life, to live a fulfilling life. And it is my great privilege each week through any of my social media tags to offer women that encouragement. So, follow me on IG. If you want to be part of the Facebook group, just let me know. I'll send you an invite. And you can get weekly encouragement.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So by all means, if it's time to try something new, even if you're not sure, even if you're scared, even if you're a little nervous or anxious, just reach out. Type in the chat. Email me, lifeinthehardplaces.com. I'll reach out. We can set up a time to call that is convenient for you. If it's not you right now, but you're thinking to yourself, ooh, yeah, she could really, that might help her out. It's no obligation. Just forward. Just forward the request. And with that, we are at the end of our time. And I thank you so much for spending an hour out of your rainy Saturday to hang out with us. I trust that you got some value out of what we're talking about. And if you wanted to follow up with anything at all that I mentioned, by all means, just let me know. Thank you for coming. And have a wonderful, wonderful day.